Everybody to the Sunday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today we are going to talk about preseason week 2. Preseason week 2 wrapping up tonight with the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Tennessee Titans at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we're going to talk about all the action coming out of the rest of week 2, and we're going to preview preseason week 3, which is going to be the final week of the preseason before all the teams get ready for the 2026 NFL season. But before we get into everything, make sure you head over to the Huddle Hub podcast over on social media after the show today, over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit the follow on the TikTok, X, and on Instagram. You're going to hit subscribe over on the YouTube. And, of course, over on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. You're just going to click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet, and help us build the Huddle Hub podcast through the 2026 NFL preseason and beyond. I almost said the rest of the NFL season. I'm like, we didn't even start yet. Man, it's been a week. So NFL preseason, as we know, underway. Last week got some really good action from a lot of teams, especially Drew Aller and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Drew Aller had a phenomenal showing for the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. I seen a couple of videos this week, and you've seen somewhat of the same stuff from Drew Aller. Somewhat of the same stuff. And, I mean, 11 of 23, 110 yards against the Jets this week. I mean, the Steelers lost to the Jets. But for him to go out and have a repeat, almost a repeat, of what he did last week. I mean, I know his completion percentage was a little higher than what it was last week than what it was this week. But to go out and still have somewhat of a consistent performance of what he showed in week 1 of preseason leads me to believe that this is going to be Drew Aller's team in 2027. And I've said it too. I said that I see Drew Aller. I said this way before the draft, Drew Aller in Pittsburgh. I said that back in October of last year, Drew Aller to Pittsburgh. He ends up in Pittsburgh. And I said it that even if Aaron Rodgers were to come back this year in 2027, that is going to be Drew Aller's team. And 2 consistent weeks of a good performance. Now, I know it's preseason. I know that. These games, they don't count for the standings or the stats, but they count on the performance of this guy could be and should be the future of your organization for the next 10 years, minimum. So, with Drew Aller having the showing that he had, I've been saying it, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room is very healthy. And I think they're going to be in a good place once Aaron Rodgers hangs it up, calls it a day. And I think Pittsburgh needs to put that emphasis of trust into Drew Aller in 2027. I do. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Penn State guy. I'm a Penn State fan. I'm saying that because Drew Aller has shown in college football that he can be a quarterback in the NFL. So, I would really, really, really start thinking about the future of this team and Drew Aller being the leader of that future. So let's get into preseason week 2. Week 2 obviously underway. And we have some scores to talk about real quick. The Las Vegas Raiders defeated the Houston Texans 22-20. The San Francisco 49ers defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 41-17. 41-17 in a preseason game. That's again, I get it, backups, everything like that, but that's not good. You're giving up 40-something points. I mean, these are some of the highest scores in preseason I've seen in a long time. 41 points put up on the board by the San Francisco 49ers. That's insane. The New York Jets defeated the Steelers 17-0. The Panthers defeated the Jaguars 34-17. Packers defeated the Broncos 33-13. The Lions defeated the Commanders 17-13. I listened to the Lions and Commanders game on Saturday afternoon, and what a good game to listen to. I actually enjoyed listening to that game. So I listened to the games on the NFL Network on SiriusXM Radio, and they pick one particular crew to be the crew that gets covering the game on the network. So it's, you listen to it, and normally it's the team that's at home that gets the coverage on it, and the Detroit Lions were the home team. And I actually liked listening to the Detroit Lions play-by-play. It was good. It was the first time I ever listened to their play-by-play. And they make it very entertaining and enjoyable to listen to Lions games. They do. If you ever get an opportunity to do it, just do it. Just listen to the play-by-play guys from the Detroit Lions, and they're a fun listen. They are. So, good game to listen to, and very competitive as the Lions pulled it out 17-13. The Bills defeated the Browns 31-7. Falcons defeated the Colts 34-6. The Ravens defeated the Vikings 13-3. The Rams defeated the Saints 34-0. 34-0. What is New Orleans doing? I mean, you look at the New Orleans defense, and that defense does not look bad at all. And again, backups, Mike, you got to keep reminding yourself this. But these are guys that are in the NFL. To be giving up 34 points and the offense not getting anything going. And Spencer Rattler didn't have a bad game at 14 to 23, 141 yards, but he threw an interception. The turnovers hurt you. And then Zach Wilson, 6 to 12 for 55 and an interception. You turn the ball over, that's not good. Chandler, the running back, had a fumble. Donaldson, the running back, had a fumble. I mean, turning the ball over is not good. Not good. Chandler's fumble was lost. Donaldson's wasn't. And you go over to the Rams side for the offense. Stenson Bennett, 19 of 31, 181 yards. And Ty Simpson, 8 of 12 for 73 yards. Both having over 60% completion percentage. Averaging over 5 yards a pass, basically. Their ratings. Simpson had an 83. Bennett had 77.49. Stenson Bennett had 2 rushing touchdowns. The Rams going out and putting up those points. 34-0. Giants defeated the Dolphins 26-3. I listened to the Giants and Dolphins game yesterday as well. And the Dolphins were the home team. So obviously they're play-by-play. And I'm going to say this. You know me. You know us here on the Huddle Hub podcast. We are very honest and opinionated. You know, we're honest with our opinions. We're not going to hold back because, you know, for a show. We're going to give you guys our honest opinion, our honest thoughts, our honest feelings about things. And I'm going to say this right now. I get it that the Miami Dolphins are in their rebuild right now. It's a rebuild out in Miami. At the same time, they've gone on to say that Malik Willis is the future of this team. Devon Achane in the backfield. Yes, you lost Jalen Waddle. You don't have Tyreek anymore. But you got a pretty decent receiving core out in Miami. It's not bad. Tutu Atwell. I mean, it's not a bad receiving crew. And you got a good tight end room. Your offensive line, you've committed so much money to that offensive line. And it's like Miami's giving up. It's like you hear Miami Dolphins fans like, oh, we want to give up and move on to the next season. We're ready for 2027 already. We haven't even started 2026. Give your team a chance. Yes, you may not believe they're going to have a great season. 6 wins at most. But that's 6 wins. Okay? That's improvement. And that is showing that this team has a future. But some teams can surprise you. We've seen teams go into seasons that weren't supposed to have the season they had, and they have those seasons. New England Patriots, for example, last year. The expectations in New England were next near to nothing. And they went to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Miami's going to go to the Super Bowl. Don't twist my words now. Okay? But it's a salvageable situation and season. You can salvage something out of this. That's the other problem too. Is the look at for draft positioning. We're not going to the playoffs. We're not going to the Super Bowl. What is there to play for? Your team to get better. Your guys to get the experience under their belts to get better for the future. You want to get to 2027? Let them play 2026 and let them get better. Stop pushing for this team to just say, screw this, and get ready for 2027. Because if you push right to 2027 and don't give these guys a chance to make themselves better and you know, everything, what are they going to give you in 2027? The stuff you're expecting in 2026. So give them the opportunity to go out and improve. You can improve in a loss. You can. Give them an opportunity to go out and improve. And stop pushing. Oh, let's get to 2027. Why? You're not giving your team enough an opportunity to improve? Then what's your expectations in 2027? You act like you don't have anything on your team. You have Devon Achane, who has proven to be a pretty good running back. Tutu Atwell, who has done some stuff out in Los Angeles. Not bad. I like Tutu Atwell. I do. I like him as a wide receiver. You don't have a bad team. It's just getting them on the same page and getting the experience, the improving, and you got to let them do that in 2026 in order to get to 2027 and have success. Don't expect instant success in 2027. Let's get to 2027. Why? 2026 hasn't even kicked off yet. You don't know what your team is going to give you. You're just under the assumption that this team is going to give you a bad year. But then come December, when the Miami Dolphins are 9-6, and they're in the mix for a playoff spot, you're going to be cheering and losing your crap. The Dolphins, yeah, I knew it. No, you didn't. You didn't know it because you wanted to get to 2027 and didn't have any belief and trust in Malik Willis to do this for you. So let them play in 2026. They're going to play. But I'm saying, you're a fan. Support them. Support them. Because they could surprise you. Just saying. But back into the play-by-play for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, these guys by mid-third quarter sounded like they just did not care anymore. They sounded like they did not care anymore. And it sounded like happy hour. It did. It did. It sounded like happy hour. Not going to lie. It did. It sounded like happy hour. That's it. That's that. That's what it sounded like. Bengals defeated the Bears 27-9. Patriots defeated the Eagles 24-21. The Buccaneers defeated the Chiefs 16-15. And the Cowboys defeated the Cardinals 34-13. I was watching some clips from the Dallas game, and let me say this. The Dallas Cowboys, if Dak Prescott does not do it for you this year, it's going to be probably time to move on because Dak has done nothing for you. You got a quarterback on your bench who can throw dimes. 9 of 13, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, one of those touchdowns, beautiful pass. Beautiful. Joe Milton. If he is not your future quarterback and you look past him, you're making a mistake. And again, if Dak does not do anything for you this year and you move on from him, you better not look past Joe Milton. Just saying. Do not look past Joe Milton. So, Seahawks Titans tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get into the news coming out of the world of football because we got a little bit of news to talk about. And one thing I forgot to do was to check and see if anything happened this morning. Normally, news doesn't come out on Sunday mornings. It's very rare we get anything. So, yeah, I don't think we have anything. Okay. Jaquan Jackson, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles, in yesterday's game against the New England Patriots. It was actually the opening kickoff of that preseason game. Ended up suffering a pretty terrible hit, and thus he was ambulanced off the field, taken to a local hospital. He has been released, and he is joining back with the Philadelphia Eagles on their return trip to Philadelphia after their loss to New England yesterday. So a scary moment for him. Just a scary moment of all. I mean, I was listening to the game towards the back end of my day of work yesterday, and just to hear that he got hit and he's being ambulanced off the field, I can only imagine what that scene looked like. You know, we have scary moments in football, you know, to where it's like you don't, regardless of whether that player plays for your team or not, you don't want to see that. I mean, this goes back to the Damar Hamlin thing a couple years ago. It's like, man, you just don't want to see this. You don't want to see a player getting taken off the field by ambulance. You don't. And your first thought is you hope he's okay. We hope everything is all right. Hopefully he gets, released and he's back with the team and all that stuff. And this was a scary moment to listen to because when you don't have that visual, it's like, what's going on? Like, you're kind of curious what is going on because you don't have the visual. You're just listening to the game. And that's that. So, but he is back with the team, which is a great thing. And seems like everything's going to be okay. The New York Giants released wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. This coming after their signing a free agent running back, Najee Harris. I'm going to say this right now. I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster has a issue to where he's not going to find a team to sign with. A team will pick him up. A team will pick him up by the time we get to week 1. If not, they'll pick him up, in the course of the season. But Juju Smith-Schuster, I think he will be on a roster in 2026, no doubt, because he's normally a mainstay. I mean, he's very well known in Kansas City. So it would not surprise me if Kansas City goes out and picks him up, bring him on the roster, kind of give a little bit of depth to their wide receiver room. So who knows? We'll have to see if what happens with Juju Smith-Schuster, but he was released by the New York Giants. Free agent cornerback Trevon Diggs, he was signed by the Seattle Seahawks. As we know, Trevon Diggs was a part of the Cowboys for a while, for a pretty decent time of his career. He ended up with the Packers. He was a Philadelphia Eagle, became a free agent, and now he is a Seattle Seahawk. So Trevon Diggs signs with the Seattle Seahawks. Wide receiver, the Houston Texans, Jaden Higgins, he is going to be out for the season. He tore his ACL during training camp this week. A rough go for Jaden Higgins and the Texans because as it's very well documented that he was going to be an intricate part of the offense for the Houston Texans. So a rough go for Jaden Higgins. Running back of the Saints, Alvin Kamara, he's going to miss some time due to a sprained MCL. As far as I heard, the time is basically the rest of training camp. He'll be ready for week 1. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Alvin Kamara to see how long he is sidelined. The Giants and Jaguars, they made a trade this week. Yes, they do happen during preseason. Giants and Jaguars made a trade. The Jacksonville Jaguars receive offensive lineman Daniel Falali, and the Giants received a 2027 late round pick. We don't know what round yet. We don't know what pick, what position, anything like that. So, sorry, I'm kind of like circling things that I want to talk about last because I have a lengthy talk about them. So give me 1 second here. Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders, continuously keeps getting his arm bumped in camp, and he's not happy about it. So last week during their training camp tour on NFL radio, Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby, they got into it a little bit. Why? Because Max Crosby, we know, is a very intense guy, and he's bringing the intensity and keeps hitting Kirk Cousins' arm, and Kirk Cousins is just not happy about it. Well, other defenders are doing it now, as apparently. And Kirk isn't happy about it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that because not much more came from this. Just that he wasn't happy. So the Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints, they were both fined $500,000 for unsportsmanlike actions at their joint practice. So I guess they got into a fight and things just, went awry and they got fined. George Kittle, tight end of the San Francisco 49ers, he visited with an orthopedic surgeon this week, and they told him that he will likely be good for week 1. This is a great thing for the San Francisco 49ers because, as we know, George Kittle is a big part of that offense. Big part. And now looking at it, you look at this offense in San Francisco. Yes, Ricky Pearsall is out for the season. They just got Debo back. So this is like the San Francisco 49ers from 2-3 years ago. That's scary. So all you Ram fans out there expecting the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, like automatically, I'm going to tell you this right now, the San Francisco 49ers are still my pick to win the West. They are still my pick to win the West. So free agent safety Taylor Rapp signed with the Broncos. Wide receiver of the new Seattle Seahawks, Jake Bobo, he is going to miss the 2026 NFL season due to a season-ending knee injury. That's a rough hit for the Seahawks, being part of that wide receiver room. So, yeah, Jake Bobo out for the year. Quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Penix, he was cleared for 11 on 11. Now, I've been hearing that Tua Tagovailoa hasn't been having the best camp out in Atlanta, and they've been pushing to get Michael Penix back in camp, and he's good to go. So it looks like the quarterback battle in Atlanta with 2 weeks left in training camp is going to heat up, and we're going to have to keep our eye on it because there's a chance Tua is not the starter out in Atlanta. So free agent running back Nick Chubb has announced his retirement after 8 seasons. So Nick Chubb, enjoy your retirement. Good luck, and hope you have a happy and healthy retirement. This is kind of sad to hear that Nick Chubb was retiring. I mean, he's a really, really good running back. He's just was plagued with injuries, which stinks because I think if he would have had the chance to be fully healthy and he would have still a top running back. Let's just put it that way. He's still a top running back. And that's that. Defensive tackle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Vita Vea, signed a 1-year, $30 million extension with the team. As we know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had two contracts in front of them that they needed to worry about. Defensive tackle Vita Vea and quarterback Baker Mayfield. They just got Vita Vea taken care of. Hopefully they get Baker Mayfield taken care of and locked in because I have a feeling Baker doesn't want to leave Tampa, and I have a feeling Tampa doesn't want Baker to leave. So get it done, Tampa. Lock him up. That's it. CBS Sports writer Zachary Pirelli put 4 NFL head coaches on the hot seat in 2026, and here are the coaches. First up, Dan Quinn of the Washington Commanders. I wouldn't put Dan Quinn on the hot seat. I wouldn't. I disagree with it due to the fact that his quarterback got hurt last year. Okay? Jaden Daniels being out for half the season last year. And most of the players in Washington got hurt, I believe. So to put Dan Quinn on the hot seat this year, I don't think is a move that needs to be made. If Washington doesn't improve from last year, this year, then I would think about 2027 Dan Quinn being on the hot seat, but not in 2026. Todd Bowles of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I agree with this one. Tampa Bay has had up and down seasons the past couple of years. Obviously, you want consistency in your organization, consistency of win, and Tampa Bay hasn't really given that. So I can agree with Todd Bowles being on the hot seat. Aaron Glenn of the New York Jets. This is a tough one because I get it that the Jets are not good right now. Okay? How can you put somebody's career in that type of jeopardy and put that much threat into a career when you know your team is rebuilding? And this is what I mean. The front office knows they're rebuilding a team. The front office knows that they need to, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And believe me, I do not think the New York Jets have all of the pieces of the puzzle together. They do not. Are they going to probably do some unique things this year? Probably. I could see the Jets winning 4 games, 5 at most. Improvement, little. But if you go 5-12 after the season you had last year, that's an improvement. You're going to fire Aaron Glenn, knowing that your puzzle is not fully put together, and he's a piece of it. So I got to disagree with Aaron Glenn being on the hot seat. I do not think he should be fired. If the Jets have the season that everybody's expecting them to have, I disagree with Aaron Glenn getting fired. I do. Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals. I can agree to this to an extent. The Bengals have had some rough seasons the past couple seasons. And, when Zach Taylor first came in, Cincinnati was hot. They made it to the Super Bowl, everything. And it just went downhill from there. I can agree with this. I can agree with Zach Taylor being on that hot seat, try and light a fire under him, and try and get this team going in 2026. So that's it for the news. We're going to take about a 30 to 45 second break, and then we are going to get into preseason week 2. So we're going to take about 30 to 45 seconds here on the Huddle Podcast. All right, make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Podcast after the show today over on social media, over on TikTok, X, and on Instagram at the Huddle Pod. You're going to hit that follow button over on the YouTube. You're going to hit the subscribe button, and of course, over on the Twitch channel at the Huddle Podcast. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet. And help us build the Huddle Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL preseason and beyond. Okay? So the NFL Top 100. We've been talking about this list since it started, right? We have been. And the top 10 will be announced starting August 24th on Monday. They're going to announce number 10 and work their way all the way up to number 1, which will be announced on September 4th. They're going to announce one player. They've been announcing 2 players a day up until this point. And now with the top 10, they're going to just announce one player the next 10 days. The additions to this list from number 20 to number 11. At number 20, running back of the Buffalo Bills, James Cook. At number 19, wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson was the first Minnesota Viking player to make this top 100 in 2026. Finally, we get a Minnesota Viking on the list, right? But that's not all. We did get a New York Giant finally, too. But at number 18, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. At number 17, running back of the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor. At number 16, wide receiver of the Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase. At number 15, running back of the Baltimore Ravens, Derrick Henry. At number 14, defensive end of the New York Giants, Brian Burns. At number 13, tight end of the Arizona Cardinals, Trey McBride. At number 12, defensive end of the Houston Texans, Will Anderson. And at number 11, quarterback of the New England Patriots, Drake May. Okay, so New York Giants, Minnesota Vikings finally get players on this list. I've been waiting for these guys to get these teams to get players on this list because I'm like, man, Justin Jefferson has to be on this list. And I was thinking top 10. I was. Now, John said to me, I think top 20. And he was right. He's in the top 20, which Justin Jefferson, his numbers were, I believe, a little down last year, but who cares? He made the list, which is great. And I'm excited to see Brian Burns made it. I'm excited for Brian Burns. Excited for him to make the list. As far as the team counts, Eagles have 5 players, Cowboys have 3, Commanders and Giants both have 1. That's the NFC East. And the NFC West, the 49ers have 4, Rams and Cardinals have 3, Seahawks have 2. In the NFC North, the Lions have 5, Packers and Bears have 3, Vikings now have 1. In the NFC South, the Panthers have 5, Saints and Bucks have 2, Falcons have 1. Over on the AFC side of things, in the East, the Patriots have 4, Bills and Dolphins have 2, Jets have 1. In the AFC West, the Broncos have 5, the Chiefs have 4, the Chargers have 3, the Raiders have 2. In the AFC North, the Ravens have 5, the Steelers and Bengals and Browns all have 2. And then over in the AFC South, the Texans have 5, Jaguars have 3, Colts have 2, Titans have 1. So those are the player counts for the top 100. Top 10 being announced starting Monday, August 24th. They will announce one player each day leading up to the announcement of the number 1 player in 2026 on September 4th. So that's that. Let's get into the NFL preseason week 3 schedule. Starting off with the Thursday matchups, the Pittsburgh Steelers head out to Buffalo to take on the Bills. I mean, here's the thing. It's no Aaron Rodgers in preseason. As far as I'm hearing, there's a chance he might start in this game. But I want to see more of Drew Aller. I do. I want to see more of Drew Aller. He was my week 1 player. Week 2 is Joe Milton. My week 2 player of the week in preseason is Joe Milton from the Dallas Cowboys. Had a really good performance. So Joe Milton was number 2, week 2. So I want to see more of Drew Aller against the Buffalo Bills. I do. So hopefully we see more of him. Sorry. All right. We got the New England Patriots heading out to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The San Francisco 49ers head out to Vegas to take on the Raiders, and the Los Angeles Rams head out to, they don't have to head out anywhere. They're playing the Chargers, Rams and Chargers. On Friday, the Washington Commanders head out to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, the only game on Friday. And then on Saturday, the Houston Texans head out to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Falcons go out to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Buccaneers head out to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The New York Giants head out to, well, they don't have to head out anywhere. They're playing the Jets, and they play in the same stadium. So MetLife. Giants, Jets at MetLife. The Saints head out to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Seahawks head out to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Bengals head out to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The Cardinals head out to Green Bay to take on the Packers. And the Vikings head out to Denver to take on the Broncos. So that is your week 3 schedule for preseason. I'm excited for the week 3 matchup between the Bengals and Eagles. We should see some Joe Burrow in this week 3 matchup. This being the final week of preseason, we should start seeing some of the number ones in there to kind of get warmed up a little bit for live action. So we'll have to see. But as far as the Thursday slated games, the Steelers and Bills is a game I'm going to be paying attention to. The 49ers and Raiders, definitely, because I have my eye on the Raiders this year. I do. I've been pretty high on the Raiders for the past season or two. This is year number 3 where I believe they're going to make improvements. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Raiders and, of course, the Rams and Chargers game. Friday, the Commanders and Ravens game. And then on Saturday, Texans and Panthers is a game I'm going to be paying attention to. The Giants and Jets is going to be one that I'll be paying attention to. The Bengals and Eagles and the Cardinals and Packers. Going to be all games that I will be paying attention to. And we will talk about those on the Sunday edition of the Huddle Podcast next week. So, but that's all I got for you guys. That's it. That's everything I got for you guys today. We're going to get out of here a little early today because, yeah, we don't have anything else. We don't. I do have something we could talk about, but we could save it for next week because we're going to need something. We're going to need something to talk about next week. So we're going to save it for next week. All right. So it's actually NFL.com senior writer Kevin Patra came out with a list of players that could be first-time Pro Bowlers in 2026. So let's do it now. Let's run it down quick, and I'll say this is going to be either agree or disagree. Okay? That's what we'll do. Okay? In the NFC, for the Arizona Cardinals, defensive tackle Walter Nolan, he's in his second year. I can agree to that. For the Atlanta Falcons, safety Xavier Watts in his second year, I can agree with that. For the Carolina Panthers, second-year wide receiver Tet McMillan, I can agree with that. Third-year quarterback of the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, I can agree with that. Fourth-year linebacker of the Dallas Cowboys, DeMarvion Overshown, I can agree with that. Pretty much this whole list I can agree with. I mean, I can agree with this. Aleem McNeil of the Lions, defensive tackle. Quarterback of the Packers, Jordan Love. Cornerback of the Rams, Trent McDuffie. Left tackle of the Vikings, Christian Darrisaw. Wide receiver of the Saints, Chris Olave. Linebacker of the Giants, Abdul Carter. Wide receiver of the Eagles, Devontae Smith. Defensive back of the 49ers, Upton Stout. Defensive back of the Seahawks, Nick Emmanwori. Wide receiver of the Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka. And linebacker of the Commanders, Odafe Oweh. Okay, and then in the AFC, safety of the Ravens, Malachi Starks. Defensive tackle of the Bills, Ed Oliver. Cornerback of the Bengals, DJ Turner. Linebacker of the Browns, Carson Schwarzenegger. Quarterback of the Broncos, Bo Nix. Running back of the Texans, David Montgomery. Wide receiver of the Colts, Alec Pierce. Wide receiver / cornerback of the Jaguars, Travis Hunter. Running back of the Chiefs, Kenneth Walker. Running back of the Raiders, Ashton Jeanty. Wide receiver of the Chargers, Ladd McConkey. Linebacker of the Dolphins, Jordan Brooks. Defensive tackle of the Patriots, Milton Williams. Wide receiver of the Jets, Garrett Wilson. Cornerback of the Steelers, Joey Porter Jr. And left guard of the Titans, Peter Skoronski. I can agree with this whole list. I can. We don't have to make a big deal about it. So, but that's going to be it, guys. We're going to get out of here on this Sunday. Make sure you head over to the Huddle Podcast over on social media. Hit that follow button over on TikTok, X, and on Instagram at the Huddle Pod. Over on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on YouTube at MetalMike714. With that being said, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Everybody have a great Sunday. Me and John will be here on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our college conference preview of the SEC. Okay, so come join us, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend and Sunday. Deuces.